Good morning. Now we'll see distance protection, okay, for a transmission line. We have seen it, okay, stepped distance relay, and we have also seen the drawbacks of overcurrent relay. So we will try to understand in a better way the drawbacks of overcurrent relay before we actually start distance protection. So in a different way actually. So I thought it would be helpful because we need to know why we are going for distance protection, and of course there are problems in distance protection also, and we'll address that also, few problems in this video. So that is the scope of this video. So yes, let's start. Now see, we already have seen overcurrent relay, and overcurrent relay, okay, trips if the fault current is greater than the pickup current, okay. So we have set some pickup current. If the fault current is more than that, then the relay will relay will trip, correct. So that is about the overcurrent relay. So first we'll say about overcurrent relay, the drawbacks of it, then we'll go to distance protection. So here is a transmission line, okay. We have a source E, okay, it is producing E voltage, and it is also having ZS, that is its own impedance, source impedance, which is constant. We have considered it as constant, and this is a bus A, okay. Of course this is single line shown, but this is a three phase line, and we have a current transformer. That current transformer is given to your relay, overcurrent relay. So overcurrent relay depends on only one parameter, that is current. So it is taking the current from the CT. So we have set it for some IPU, which is the pickup current, and it is given back to the circuit breaker, correct. That signal will give it to the circuit breaker. Now see, at this point, okay, before the design of the transmission line, okay, we actually do not know which type of fault will occur in it. Yes, we do not know it actually. So what happens is, the fault current at bus, at bus, which type of fault can happen? Three phase fault, correct? Yes or no? In the bus, all three buses are connected, all three lines are connected. So three phase fault can occur here. So since it is near to this location, we have taken a line below that. So what will be the IF? It purely depends on, because it is at the bus, it is IF is equal to E by ZS. So E by ZS, since three phase fault will be a severe fault, so it will have high current. So that is this, and current will be high here, correct, near the generator. So that is the fault current. But as the transmission line, okay, increases as the length, okay, the impedance also goes on adding. That is, its a transmission line impedance means resistance plus reactance goes on adding. So the current value will decrease, correct. Is this line correct? Did you understand this blue line? Similarly, LLG fault is bit less severe than that. Severe means its current rating is less, because impedance impedance offered by LLG fault is less, it is high. So since impedance is high compared to three phase fault, its current value is bit less. So compared to three phase fault current, the LLG fault current is less, and compared to LG fault is less severe, because it offers more impedance compared to LLG, so its value is less. And this is the IPU, okay, this is the I per unit. So this is the pickup current, and you can observe that okay, you can observe that this IPU is intersecting these three lines at this point, correct, at these 3 points. Fine. So it means what? Okay, yes, it means your relay can give protection up to this point for this LG fault. So this is how it is written. So reach for LG fault is up to this distance. So for this much fault current it can reach up to here, means after that for LG fault it cannot give the protection. Okay, similarly this is the reach for okay LLG fault, it can reach up to this point. So it means from here to this point. So similarly reach for 3-phase fault is up to here. Okay, it is up to here. So it means what? If 3-phase fault occurs, okay, it can, if the 3-phase fault occurs here, then it can sense that current and this can take the tripping decision. Okay, so till B2 it can provide the protection for 3-phase fault. For LG fault up to only B, and for LLG fault up to B, and for LG fault up to B1. So it means what? What is the understanding from this, inference from this? Okay, what is the conclusion? Is that the IF depends on types of fault. The fault current here is not constant, it is dependent on different types of faults. So therefore length of the line that is protected depends on type of the fault. So the length is not fixed here, it depends on types of faults. Okay, but you want the protection to be up to a particular zone, correct? That is not possible with the overcurrent relay. So that is the drawback of overcurrent relay. Yes, I hope you got it. So next case, here instead of ZS constant, it can be variable also. Now we shall take the case 2, second case, where ZS is variable. Okay, so it is not required that ZS also always should be constant. It doesn't mean that. Okay, so sometimes your extra generators may be added, since it is an interconnected system. Okay, extra generators may be added, or maybe transformer tappings might have changed. So all many different reasons are there. So this is a source impedance, it might be a variable. Now since this is variable, we have already seen IF is E by ZS. If ZS is very less, it means the fault current is high, it means it can reach to the farther end. If ZS is increasing, okay, yes, if ZS is increasing, the whole IF, this whole term will decrease, so it can reach to the lesser distance. So this is the reach. So reach depends on now what? ZS. So for different ZS we have given, so ZS1 which is least, so for that blue line, ZS2 is bit higher than ZS1, so it is bit less reach. Okay, so this is reach due to ZS1. Okay, then reach due to ZS2, and this is reach due to ZS3 up to here. Okay, so you got it. And we see one more thing, IF depends on E also. Okay, see, it depends on the type of fault. We have already seen it in first case. Now in second case we are seeing that it also depends on source impedance. If it is variable, the distance, the reach of the relay is also varying because ZS is varying, and also it is depending on E also. If E is varying, then your reach is also varying. So hence it is clearly evident that overcurrent relay alone is not a suitable relay for protection of transmission line. Okay, so we have to look at something which is not dependent on these parameters. What are those parameters? Okay, type of fault, source impedance, and the voltage E. If if any one of the relay, if it is not dependent on these parameters, then we can select that relay. Now let us see a distance relay, okay, which overcomes these disadvantages, that is these dependencies on E, ZS and types of fault. So this is our source and this is the source impedance, bus bar A, and we have a circuit breaker, we have a CT, okay, CT is given to a relay will give a tripping signal to your circuit breaker, okay, this is there. Now here it is Z, okay, let me draw it a bit bigger one, okay, that is the relay what you are operating is based on Z, okay. If whatever the impedance is measured, if it is less than this Z, okay, it means it will trip. That is, we have given some Z, okay, we have set some impedance for this here in this relay, okay. If impedance is lesser than that, if impedance measured is less than the Z set, then the relay will give the tripping decision. But here we need one more quantity from PT, not only CT, we need one more quantity from PT. So here we need two quantities. Unlike your current, overcurrent relay, it was taking only quantity current from CT. Now here it will take both voltage and current, okay. So this is your this. So if you want to write an equivalent circuit of this, okay, so this is E, okay, so this is your ZS, okay, and this is your bus bar. Now assuming that there is a fault somewhere at this location, so till there will be some resistance and there will be some resistance and some impedance till this fault point, correct. So that fault point will be here, okay. So here, because what is matter is you are measuring here, CT and PT are measured at this point, okay, near the bus bar. So at this point, what is the VR, okay, we are calling it as VR because it's not receiving and voltage. VR does not signifies here receiving, it tells that it is a relay voltage at a relaying point, and we have a current at a relaying point. So that is important. So this is transmission line RL and this is XL. So this is relay voltage. Now we have VR and we have IR. So relay voltage, relay current, and we have the magnitude that if it is less than Z set, because V by R is Z, correct. If this value is less than the set value, then okay, the relay trips, okay. It means if ZR is less than Z set, okay, it means it will trip. So how do you set actually this Z? How will you set this? We'll understand it right now, okay. See, there is a torque equation. See, Z is what? We have current coil, inside this we have a potential coil also. It's just like your energy meter, okay, your disc type energy meter. It depends on both potential coil and current coil, right. You can actually set those value, some constant. So actually torque equation we have seen in first chapter, okay, K1 IR square minus K2 VR square, okay. So since torque is proportional to IR square, and this is a constant of current coil and this is the constant of voltage coil, okay. So it means what? Okay, it means what? Torque is exerted means what? It is positive. When this will be positive? When this is greater than this, okay. So torque is positive when K1 into IR square is greater than K2 into VR square. Do you agree? See, when torque is positive, then only relay will trip, right. torque has to be exerted. So if when this will be positive when this is greater than this, because this is a negative term. Okay, so in that case, or you can write it as K2 VR square less than K1 IR square. You can write it like this. So VR divided by IR, I will bring this both this side, another side, okay, left hand side. I will bring IR square left hand side, it will come to denominator. Since it is square, I will write it a root here. So what does remain here? K1 by K2. So what is K1 K2? It is a constant of those settings, correct? Potential coil and current coil, how much windings you use, what is the resistance of that is all in your hand, right? Correct? Pick up current and what is the voltage you want to have in a particular coil. Yes, you change the number of coils, turns, you can change the voltage, correct? So that is what this constant belongs to those. So this ZR, if it is less than this Z set, so what is Z set? Root of K1 by K2. K1 by K2 is a constant. So Z set is a constant, it is a constant thing. Okay. So once this condition is achieved, then the relay trips. This means what? This is independent of, yes, tell me. Yes, what we have achieved? We have achieved some relation which is independent of, yes, type of fault, okay, E and also ZS. So we have made an equation, we have come to an equation which is independent of these three quantities. Okay, so we have different types of distance relay. Actually, distance relays, we have different types of distance relay. So we have impedance, okay, impedance relay. So we have reactance relay. Reactance is a part of impedance, correct? So we can have this, and we can also have more relay. So each one has their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so we will see all those things. Fine. Now, now we will see impedance relay. So the universal torque equation is given by K1 I square K2 V square. This is what we had seen just now, but universal equation is plus K3 Vi cos theta minus tau plus K4. So where K4 is spring constant. Okay, so there is a restraining spring, right, inside the, okay, inside the relay we have seen a spring. Okay, it is a restraining spring, and of course it depends on the voltage term, current term, and cos of angle between voltage and current. We have seen this. So we can make this universal equation to get, or we can make use of this universal equation to get the impedance relay. To get that, what we have to do is, to get impedance relay, what we have to do, to build an impedance relay, what we have to do is, K1 must be positive, okay, and K2, K4 both must be negative, okay, sorry, and K3 must be 0. Now what it becomes? So our torque equation now becomes K1 IR square minus K2, because K2 and K4 must be negative, so K2 VR square, I am writing instead of IR VR, is because at relaying point these are the voltages, okay, minus K4. So as I said, this is spring tension, K4 is a spring tension. So let me write spring tension, and what is VR? Voltage measured at relay, and this is current measured at relaying point. Okay, so impedance relay is Okay, see, spring tension is very negligible. So impedance relay is voltage restraint over current. See, over current is also, okay, I square R, I mean IR square, okay, IR square. This is over current. Along with this voltage restraint, it becomes an impedance relay. So okay, let me change the color. Okay, now what we can write is relay will operate if T is positive. It means what? K1 IR square is greater than, okay, see, when T will be positive, when this is greater than K2 VR square plus K4. Do you agree? Yes. So this term I have brought it the other side. Fine. So this term should be greater than 0, then only T will be positive, correct? So this term greater than 0, so these two terms I have brought it this side. Okay, hope you got it. Now I'll write this term LHS just like the way I did previously. Okay, so K1 IR square minus K4 is left out, so VR by IR whole square. If I bring this here, it becomes K1 by K2 minus K4. If I take the LCM, K2 IR square. Okay, so now this becomes what? Since there is no space, let me write it here, is less than root of K1 by K2 minus K4 by K2 IR square. Okay, K2 IR square. Now this term K4 is very less compared to IR square. See, spring restraint or spring force is very less when compared to the, okay, current at relaying point, and it is square also. So denominator term K2 IR square is very greater than K4. So you can neglect that term. If you neglect that term, what you get is VR by IR is less than K1 by K2. Just now we had got it. Okay, so we have proved it. Yes. So what is this now? ZR. Okay, VR by IR is ZR. So this term root of K1 by K2 is nothing but ZZ. So what is the meaning here? Okay, whatever the voltage impedance is measured here, okay, if it is less than Z set, okay, whatever impedance is sensed here, if it is less than the Z set, then there is a tripping action. Okay, then there is a tripping action. Now we'll see an example. Okay, we'll try to understand it completely. Okay, now as usual, there is an voltage source here, there is an source impedance, and there is a bus bar. So Z set, again it depends on two quantities, that is VR and IR at relaying point. So compared to that, when it is compared, so if the Z measured is less than the Z set, so Z is set. How it is set we have already seen. So it gives the tripping decision. Now there are three conditions. Okay, so this is the reach of Z set. Z set, what you have set is to reach up to here. Okay, to reach up to here, this is what is the requirement. Now what will happen if the fault occurs inside it? So it is called as internal fault. Internal fault means this relay, when the fault occurs here, obviously this is the transmission line length. Okay, so impedance has reduced because this much impedance is not there now. So if impedance has reduced, so ZR is less than Z set, so it will trip. So for this, the impedance should trip. So here for this it is less than Z set, so relay should trip. Here it is exactly equal to Z set. You can see here at the edge it is there. Okay, so it is equal to Z set, and for point C it is greater than Z set. So for external fault, for this fault, okay, here the impedance is more. Since impedance is more for length 3, okay, more than this, so relay will not operate. So this is more clearly understood. By I versus V characteristics. See here, it is V by IR. So these are the two quantities which decides the correct. So V by what is Z actually? Z is V by I, correct? VR by IR. But what here it is? What is this slope? This slope is nothing but IR by VR. Slope is what? Okay, Y by X. So y is IR, X is VR. So y by X is what? IR by VR. IR by VR is what? Slope. So inverse of that is, inverse of IR by VR is what? VR by IR. So that is Z. VR by IR is Z. Okay. Now actually it should have started here, but we have something called as, we need a starting, we don't need a, starting zero current is not sufficient. We need some small amount of current to overcome what? Effect of S, you are right, spring. So it has to overcome the spring. See, small amount of current has to be there to overcome the spring, then only your torque will have positive, torque will be positive, it will have a positive force, correct? So because of that reason, zero current is not sufficient. So this is the curve. So this is the slope. Now if current is high, obviously, okay, Z is less. Current is high means what? Current and impedance are inverse relation. Okay, we know this Ohm's law. V by I is Z, or okay, they are inverse relation, right? So this is in numerator, this is in denominator. So inverse relation. So inverse relation means if current is high, see here current is high, so therefore torque, so therefore Z is less. Here current is less here, okay, if current is less, then it means impedance is more. If impedance is more than the set value, there is a negative torque, so there is no tripping here, there is tripping here. So but this is bit confusing to understand, that's why we have something called as RX diagram. Okay, why we go for RX diagram? Because it doesn't give all the parameters which you can represent it here. So once we understand why this is confusing and why it is not sufficient, of course this is, we have learned it, actually we have understood what actually the curve is, but it is more easily representable in this diagram. Okay, now give me a second. S. Now, okay, so what is RX diagram? R is in real part, so real part of VR by IR, and X is imaginary part of VR by IR. So this is reactance, this is resistance. Okay, see, impedance has both reactance plus resistance. Now this is the fault line characteristics of a fault line. Okay, so this is the fault line. See, this is the length of the line, this purple line is the length of the line. Fault is F1 is near, this is F1 is near, F2 is still further, and F3 is at point C. F3 is farther from the relaying point. So this is the relaying point. So here starting of the transmission line is here. Okay, so impedance is less. Now since there are two terms, that is real part and imaginary part, this line will make some angle. And how do you find that angle? You know the angle formula, tan inverse of imaginary part by real part. This is the mathematics which we already know from our elementary course, correct? So now what is this circle then? What is this circle? It is to the point where it is set. So this is Z set. Okay, so this is the Z set. So here impedance is less, okay, compared to Z set. So wherever the impedance is less, so here and all here, inside the circle the impedance is less, so trip will happen. Means Z is less than Z set. Z is less than Z set, correct? Z set is this point, so it is less than that. So wherever here, if the Z measured is within this, there is a trip. Okay, next now if Z is more than the Z set, means outside the circle restrain means no trip. So this is trip, this is no trip. So this is impedance. So here you can see impedance F3 is the external fault. So impedance is measured is more than the Z set. So it is outside the circle. This relay at this point will not take the tripping decision. Maybe if we have kept one more relay at point B, it would take care, but we are talking about this relay, okay, at bus A. So this is the diagram what you need to understand. We have understood it. So how this is implemented? Okay, this can be implemented. Okay, this impedance relay can be implemented using balanced beam type relay. Okay, and it can be implemented using induction cup also. We'll see that next class. Now balanced beam type relay is made up of soft iron armature. Okay, here this is a beam, it is balanced. Okay, now there are three things actually. One is current coil, another is voltage coil, which is restraining, and this is the operating coil. Restraining means it opposes, so spring is also opposing. So initially this will be down, okay, this will be up, this side will be up. Okay, so you can see something like this, okay, like this is down, this is up, like this. So initially it will not be making any contact. Why? Because during no fault, when there is no fault, voltage will be high, correct? When there is fault, current will be high, but when there is no fault, voltage will be high. Since voltage is high, it will pull down this plunger P1, it will make it to pull down because this coil is more excited, okay, compared to current coil. And spring also will be of course there, so it will pull down. Spring is attached to this, so it doesn't make any contact. But when there is a fault, okay, what will happen is the current will be high. Once the current is high, okay, this will pull it down. This plunger P2 is pulled down because it is, okay, more electromagnetic field, so it will pull down. So once it is pulled down, this will come up and it will make a contact with the trip coil, and the trip takes place. So representation is shown here, and of course it is dependent on what? Current coil, voltage coil, and of course spring, and that is what is written here. The equation is, it depends on current constant, voltage constant, and spring constant. So here the characteristic is something like this. So this is the distance, okay, operating time versus distance. So till a particular point it will be constant time, and suddenly at particular current, okay, for that distance it will operate. Okay, so the characteristics is something like this. So for C it doesn't operate, it will not wait up to C point because it is set up to only point B, just like we had seen here, set only up to point B. Okay, so that's it for today's class. We'll see the problems of this distance relay in next class. Okay, so that is the only topic which is bit lengthy, and after that small topic. So another 2 to 3 classes maybe we'll finish this. That's it. Thank you.